Welcome to the West Deptford Free Public Library. We're going to take you on a tour today of the Smithsonian's Waterways exhibit. Water is life. It forms our world and our lives. It allows us to travel. It blocks our paths. It is crucial in determining where we live and work, what we eat and drink. It is the essential biological and natural resource that people struggle to access and control. Water shapes human culture, our ways of life. It is central to many rituals and ceremonies around the world. It inspires art and music. As you explore this exhibition, consider how you would tell your own water story. What does water mean to you? What role does water play in your work, your town, your neighborhood, and your worldview? Think about your waterways. #MyWaterStory. Our world is water. 71% of the Earth's surface is water, mostly in oceans. We have water in the clouds above us. We have water in the soil beneath our feet. Water is everywhere. 60% of the human body is water, but only 3% of the Earth's water is safe for people to drink. There's 320 quintillion gallons of water on the Earth, but we can only drink 3%. Not all water flows into the sea. There's also basins that it collects in and evaporates. Watershed. What's a watershed? The surrounding area of land in which water collects and drains into a water source. Here's an example of a watershed. Source. Water is the source of our very lives. It's at the source of the things we encounter every day. It shapes our land, forms our communities, and inspires our culture. Rivers, rain, ice, and oceans shape the land through erosion and constant pressure on the earth. The ebb and flow of water creates and destroys the land we inhabit. Access to water determines where and how we build our communities and structure our lives. Water holds a central place in the origin stories and rituals of many cultures and faiths. Water inspires our art, music, dance, and literature. What would you lose if we didn't have water? Glaciers are like rivers of ice, but they're not frozen in place. Water is like the ultimate architect. No matter how gentle it is, it can be destructive as well. It gave us the Grand Canyon and Niagara Falls. It destroys places like New Orleans in 2005 with Hurricane Katrina. It inspires our humanity. It's gentle, nurturing, cleansing. It's a part of culture and faith. It inspires paintings, poems, all kinds of art. Home is where the water is. The availability of fresh water is a basic need for communities. In the past, people settled in places with adequate water. Today, tens of millions of Americans continue to make their homes along the water's edge. Waterways define our boundaries. We identify our communities with names like Eastern Shore or Bay Area, making the water a natural marker and cultural touchstone of the places where we live and work. We have a bird's eye view of the city of Hannibal. This inspired Mark Twain in his writings. Water is critical for life. You can't live without it. And here, there's fracking, which is controversial. And Flint, Michigan in 2014, how the water was contaminated, people protesting. Americans work hard to find water, but who owns the water? Islands are perhaps the most obvious landscapes affected by water. People that live on the water use the water to live. Water inspires things such as shell buttons, pottery, bowls, a canteen. flow. Water sustains us, and it can harm us. It's sometimes soft and gentle, sometimes it rages and pushes the large obstacles with ease. It's a core factor in our relationships with the world around us. Historically, access to water made it easier to travel, migrate, and trade with others. Historically, it's also been a pathway to freedom for people looking for a new life and a voyage to enslavement and deprivation for people removed from their homes. What are the ways water forms connections and divisions in your community? Harnessing the power of water. Humans not only drink water, we put it to work. We search for ways to control water and the energy it possesses. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, Americans withdrew 355 billion gallons of water for use each day in 2010. Massive dams don't just corral our drinking water, they also generate power. Miles upon miles of canals and irrigation ditches water our crops. We use water to make goods like paper and for cooking and cleaning. Whether we use it for drinking, manufacturing, or transportation, water is critical to our economy. There needs to be a balance. In some areas, agriculture and industry are depleting water sources. Furthermore, poor environmental practices have led to pollution and contamination of water supplies and waterways in some communities. What are the ways you and your community put water to work? In 2010, the U.S. Geological Survey reported that 41% of the public freshwater supply in the U.S. was used for creating energy. Agriculture accounted for 38%. Water at home. Have you had a glass of water today, taken a shower, washed some dishes, run the dishwasher? We use water in our home every day, and we get it so easily we don't even think about it. In 2010, about 12% of freshwater withdrawals in the U.S. went into the public water supply, and 57% of that was delivered to homes. 71% of interior domestic water is used in bathrooms, plus you cook, you clean, you water your plants with water. Water is used everywhere. Newer water-saving shower heads use 2 gallons of water per minute, as opposed to old shower heads that use 5 gallons per minute. That's a big difference. Let's see how much water everyday products are used to produce. To produce 1 apple, you need 18 gallons of water. For pizza, 333 gallons of water. How about that phone you use every day? One smartphone is 240 gallons of water. And the car. One car with 4 tires takes 39,090 gallons of water to produce. Are you being careful with your water? Finding comfort and purpose in water. The scent of a rain shower, the sound of rain on a rooftop, a cool swim on a hot day, majestic waves crashing on the shore. Water appeals to all our senses. Our relationship with water is both personal and communal. We look to water to provide peace and solitude in the midst of our hectic daily lives. We see natural beauty along riverbanks, and we pause to admire sunrise and sunset at the water's edge. Yet water also has a way of bringing us together. We gather at the shore of the ocean, a lake, or a river to swim, fish, kayak, or boat. We carry in our heads and our hearts notions about what our water means to us. What are your personal waterways? Do you like to hang by a pool, surf, fish, ice fish? There's lots of ways to enjoy the water. In the United States, there's many cultures and customs celebrated by different people, such as the Down Rigging Festival in Chestertown, Maryland, Harbor Festival, boat parades, ice festivals, dragon boat races, even Columbus Day. Water is used in many different ways. Water is eternal. Water is a finite resource. Our environment does not create water, it recycles it. We must take steps to ensure the quality and reliability of our current water sources. We need to find ways to recycle water and make untapped water sources useful. Even though we have the recipe, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, we cannot safely make our own water. Population growth is altering access to water supplies. Scientists continue to study how climate changes could affect water supplies in the future. Americans are making great strides in cleaning up water supplies, but pollution remains a problem. It's clear that there are numerous threats to our water resources. In 2014, the U.S. Government Accountability Office reported that 40 states expected to experience water shortages by 2024. Think beyond your faucet. What is the source of your drinking water? Are there any issues that could impact your access to that water? What are some of the threats to waterways in your area? Climate change. Increased global temperatures significantly impact the water cycle. It isn't about heat. Some places are colder and hotter, but the changes can lead to new weather patterns, higher sea levels, significant loss of glaciers, ice sheets are melting, storms, increased rainfall. These are all affected. Pollution. Pollution's a problem. Do you dump stuff down your faucet and not worry about where it goes? well. It comes back. Whatever you discard will go in someone else's water. It will go in rivers and groundwater. Whatever we eat and drink, put on our bodies, it all comes back. It's our water. Americans have learned over the past century that our access to clean, usable water is far from guaranteed. No new water is being created. We have to protect the water we have and use it wisely. While some water challenges are seemingly insurmountable, people are great problem solvers. There are many easy positive changes we can make right now where we live. It is possible and necessary to renew, refresh, and reuse water. The water we have is it. We have to take care of our water. Again, pollution. Need to recycle. The Smithsonian has a series of programs that provide students with information on the science behind water. What's next? Water is one of our most valuable resources on the planet. Our history and culture bear witness to the importance of water. Just as water nourishes us physically, it also builds up spiritually. Without enough water, our health suffers, our economy and political structures would falter. It's clear that water has a significant impact on our ways of life. What are your waterways? #MyWaterStory.